Hey guys, we are getting there. We have the HTML done for our HTML template. Now we need to add the CSS to start to make this come together. Alright, so we're going to go in our HTML directory here. We're going to go into CSS and then open up app.css. Alright, so we're going to start from the top and just start with the body. And let's make the color of our text gray. And we're going to set the background to a light gray. Okay, our links, we're going to give the hexadecimal value of 5A, 5A, 5A. Okay, and then we want to style the hover. When we hover over links, say color, and that's going to be gray. Alright, so we have a class of button, and for that we're going to have this color here. Okay, and then let's go to the top bar. I'm going to set the font size to 13 pixels, make it a little smaller, and also set the color to a dark gray. Alright, so if we look at the top bar now, we're going to want to style these icons up here. They're way too small. We also want to give them a background and space them out a little bit. So let's say dot top bar dot social. Remember, we gave that div a class of social, and then dot fa. Alright, so let's make sure the color is dark gray. We're going to give them a background, F9, FB, F8. Okay, we're also going to give 9 pixels of padding. Set the width to 35 pixels, and then I want to align to the center. Okay, so that looks good. Now the form has quite a bit of styling, so I'm going to paste it in fragments. Alright, so let me grab the CSS for just the actual form. Okay, we're putting a background color a little darker than the top bar. Float left, margin, width is going to be 240. Alright, and then for the input, let me paste that in. Okay, we're just setting the colors, font size, height, line height, padding, margin, things like that. And then for the button, we'll paste that in. Okay, we're going to float it left, font size, height. The button is actually an icon. It's not actual text. Alright, so let's save that and reload. And now our top bar looks pretty good. Okay, so it looks just like, actually we want to move these down a little bit. So remember how we put those in a span tag? So we're going to say top bar span, and let's say display block, and add a padding top of 10 pixels. And there we go. So that's our top bar. So next we have the header. So for the header, the background is going to be white. We're going to give it padding top of 20 pixels and also padding bottom of 20 pixels, and then border bottom, which will be gray, 1 pixel solid. Okay, so that's for the header. Let's save it. Okay, let's also add an overflow of auto. Okay, now for the menu, we're going to say dot menu, and we're gonna add a margin top of 10 pixels, and let's also float it to the right. Alright, now if we save that, that should move over. Okay. Now the header should be, these should be pushed into the middle, like the top bar. I think I forgot the row class. So let's go back to the index HTML, and where we have header, we should have a row div right here. Okay, that acts as a container. So if we reload, now that's pushed to the middle. Now we need to do it to the other HTML pages as well. So I'm just going to copy this whole header, and then we'll just open these up and just replace the header. Okay, good. Single. Alright, so that's taken care of. Next thing is going to be, let's see, we have our header done, that's done. Now post. Okay, so we want to float left, set the width to 100%, and set background to that. And then we're going to take the description, float left, and let's add a bunch of padding. And we're going to set this width to 50%. And then I'm going to post in couple other things. We have the post description span. We're going to add these styles, and then the H3, we're going to add those. Alright, and then the image, we're going to set to float left, and width will be 50%. Alright, and then the button, let's paste that in. Okay, that's for the read button. Okay, we'll save that. Let's go back and reload. And that looks pretty good. Okay, the button doesn't look quite right. Did I not add text? Let's see, where am I? H3, read more. Oh, I didn't add the text. Okay, so these buttons should have text of read more. There we go. And you can see they have the hover effect as well. So that looks good. Now let's move on to the footer. Okay, we'll go back to our CSS, and we're going to paste in some footer styles. So the main footer itself, we have a background color of black, color of white, some padding. The icons in the footer are going to be white with some margin on the right. Paragraphs will have a line height and a width. H3 will have a border, padding, margin, and the UL will have no padding and margin. LIs will have no bullets. Line height will be 2.2 em, and they'll have a border on the bottom. Reload, and there we go. Alright, so that does it for the home page. If we click on About, you can see we have some issues here. I actually want to check out the HTML real quick for About. Okay, so let's see. About should not have this post description div. So let's get rid of that. Okay, there we go. Alright, so let's style this this banner area, which is this section with the class of title section. So we're going to go to our CSS, and I'm going to just grab this stuff real quick. Okay, so title section itself, background is going to be black. We got a lot of padding on the top and bottom. Everything's in the center. We have the H1 with some margin, the welcome text, and the subtext. Save that, and there we go. Now the single page, I just want to add some margin to the bottom. So we're going to say single page and say margin bottom 40 pixels. Let's see, why didn't that show up? Article class single page. Okay, that's good. Alright, so let's see, the sidebar doesn't look that great, so let's add some CSS for that. Okay, so we have our well, which is going to have a white background, some padding. Sidebar widgets themselves have a little bit of styling, the list items, and the UL. Okay, that looks good. Now let's look at the blog page. Okay, so not too bad. We got to fix a couple things here. Let's take care of, we're going to add some margin to the bottom there. Okay, I'm also going to add some margin auto to the blog post image. Alright, the meta has a little bit of styling as well, so let's go ahead and paste that in. Okay, so we're just setting a width of 100%. We're aligning to the center. That's pretty much it. We're adding margin and padding. Save that. And there we go. So that's pretty much it. Let's look at the gallery. Okay, so the gallery, we just want to add some margin to the bottom. I'm actually going to add it to where we put in the single page right here. Let's just add in gallery. I don't think I added it to the actual HTML though. Oh yes, I did. Okay. So that looks good. Let's see. For the actual image in the gallery, I'm going to add some margin to the bottom as well. So we'll say gallery image, margin bottom of 20 pixel. Alright, so things look pretty good. Let's click on single post. That looks good. Alright, I think we're ready to go, and we're ready to turn this into a WordPress theme. Alright, so I will see you in the next video.